So we're going to do some application or word problems that, this one's getting bad, that involve solving equations. Yeah, this one's really bad. No, I don't know. I guess it's like getting worn off or something. Okay. That should say 1.4b. Okay, this is the last lesson before your quiz. So tomorrow we're going to review. We're not going to learn anything new tomorrow. Today this is going to be on your quiz. This will be on part of your quiz. So we're going to do some word problems. And we're still solving equations. So here's the thing with the word problems and equations. A lot of you guys are pretty good at just figuring things out. And I love that. I really do. But I'm going to require you to not just try and guess and check in your mind and get the right answer. I'm going to have you make an equation and solve it and tell me what the answers are instead of just trying to figure it out, okay? All right, I have 4 examples of these word problems that we're going to do today. So first example, number 1. All right, this is like one of those, like if you're watching a sitcom and it's, you know, a math class and they're like, 2 cars leave at the same time and leave in opposite directions, you know, or like 2 trains are coming together. They always like say those words. What? Like, you know, like kid ones, like Saved by the Bell, or, I mean, that's, yeah, totally not your time. All right, like kid stuff, you know, like when you're a little kid. 2 cars leave at the same time. Write this down. And you will have some word problems on your quiz on Thursday. 2 cars leave at the same time and travel in opposite directions. Travel in opposite directions. All right, it says 1 car, now I'm supposing these cars are on the freeway, they're going awfully fast. 1 car is traveling at an average of 60 miles per hour, so that's car number 1. And the other car is going an average of 70 miles per hour. So they're out on the interstate somewhere. It's very legal. Okay. Now here's the question. How long will it take for the cars? How long will it take to be 455 miles apart? Okay, they're not stopping for lunch. They're not changing their speed. It's an average. Okay? This would be a lot harder if their speed had changed and stuff like that. So we're just assuming that 1 car's going that way, the other car's going that way, opposite directions. One's going 60, one's going 70. We want to find out when they're going to do that. Sometimes it's nice to draw a picture of what's going on. So let's say that here's kind of the starting point where they took off in opposite directions. And let's say the 60 mile per hour car is going that way. And the 70 mile per hour, will it go shorter distance or a longer distance? They'll go longer because they're going faster, okay? And then the total distance that these cars are apart is 455 miles. Now, most of the time with these word problems, you're not going to need a formula. In this case, we need a formula. Does anyone know a formula that relates distance and time and how fast you're going? No? Okay, so maybe this is a new one. Sometimes, like if you're driving to San Diego, I mean, you guys all have apps on your phone that will tell you when you're going to get there anyways, but when I was younger, it would be like, okay, there's 200 miles left to go, and I could look and figure out how fast my dad was going and figure out how long it's going to take. Because distance equals rate times time. Okay? Distance equals rate times time. So how far you go equals the rate that you're going times the time that you're going to. So here we go. This one happens to have 2 different rates times time, okay? So this is what we're going to do. We're going to take 60 times the time. So for the first car, his distance, or her distance, is 60 times t. We're going to add that to the other guy's distance, which is rate times time, 70 times t. So this is the first one's distance, because distance equals the rate they're going times time. This is the other one's distance. You add them up and it equals what? 455. So that's the first step. And even on your quiz, I'll write an equation that would be used to solve this problem. Okay? And now you're going to solve it. Make sure you bring a calculator with you too. If it's just like the one little one that you used last year, that's fine. If you got the graphing calculator, that's great too. So we're going to add these up, and we get 130t equals 455. A lot of times the hardest part is setting up the equation, right? But solving it, you guys did a really nice job last night. And then divide by 130. So the time that it's going to take for them to be 455 miles apart would be 3.5 hours. And don't forget units. So if you write 3.5, maybe that's 3.5 days, 3.5 years, 3.5 minutes, 3.5 hours. Yep. Not too bad, not too bad. All right, number 2.
Too shabby.
Not too shabby. Number 2. All right, in your book, which you don't have to turn there, but there's this really pretty picture in, I think it's in India. Has anyone ever been to India? No? My brother lived there for a while. Oh, no, I'm sorry, it's in Belgium. It looks very Indian to me for some reason. It's totally different. Brussels, anyone ever been to Belgium? You? Oh, lucky. Brussels sprouts are the best. Okay, number 2. It says here there's some flower carpet. It looks very pretty. It's like out in front of this palace. They call it a flower carpet. So they tell you the dimensions of this flower carpet. And the dimensions are this. One side is a certain length. We'll call it x. And the other side is 3 times as long. So how would I represent that side? 3x. Perfect. Not 3 plus x, but 3 times x. Okay? 3x. All right. And they tell you that the perimeter around this whole thing, not the area, but the perimeter, is 200. And what do you think units they use over there in Belgium? Meters, yeah, meters. Okay, bless you. 200 meters. Okay, so the question is, find the length and its width. We're going to find how long it is and how wide it is, either way. Okay, so what does perimeter mean? You learned this a long time ago, right? Long time ago. Perimeter is to do what? Go around, add up all the sides. Perfect. Okay, so if I know, all right, SpongeBob. So if I know this one, this is x. And this one is 3x. That's the bubble one, huh? Yeah, that's a good one. That's the only one I like. All right, so let's go ahead. We're going to add all of the sides up to each other. We're going to go 3x plus x plus 3x plus x. If you wanted to, you could have done 2 times 3x because there's 2 of the 3x's and 2 times x. And that's equal to 200 meters. All right, so you solve this. You did this last night. This is not that bad. Setting up the equation's the hard part. I did that for you. You go ahead and solve it. And when I say solve it, I want the dimensions, plural. There are 2 answers, 2 parts to this answer. What are the dimensions? And don't forget units. Yeah, some of you need your calculator. That's okay. 200 divided by 8 is 25. It's like $2. I think of $2 divided by 8. I'm sorry, Wyatt. Get over yourself. So who's got it? What are the dimensions? Yes. 25 meters by 75. Yeah, good. Nice help. Good job, friend. All right, 8x is 200 divided by 8x is 25. They asked for the dimensions. That's just the one side right here. We need the other side, which is 3 times as long, and 3 times 25 is 75. So I would say 25 meters by 75 meters would be a nice answer. Yay. All right, 2 more. Aren't these fun? Say yes.
Yes.
There you go.
Yes.
All right, we're going to go a little bit of geometry on you. A little bit. I know. Easy geometry. Okay, here we go. The complement. I don't know if that's spelled right. I don't know if it's an I or an E, but I'm just going to go with it. The complement, not like, oh, you look so nice today. Not that kind of compliment. The complement of an angle is 10 degrees more than 3 times the other angle. than 3 times, 10 degrees more than 3 times, and that's why we spent that day doing modeling, so we can translate some of this stuff. 10 more than 3 times the other angle. What we're going to do is we're going to find the angle measures. Find the angle measures. All right, I'll let you write that down, get caught up. The complement of an angle is 10 degrees more than 3 times the other angle. Find the angle measures. First of all, you need to know what the word complement means, right? Forgot it. Maybe we forgot it. There are 2 different things that go together in geometry. There's complementary and supplementary. Complementary is 90 degrees. The sum of 2 angles is 90 degrees. Supplementary is 180. Do you have ways that you memorize that? Yeah?
Complementary and supplementary.
Supplementary has 2 p's in it, which is double the value.
Ooh, I like that. I had other people say alphabetical, like C comes before S, 90 is before 180. Miss Cowie used to say that you would go, yo, what's up? And that makes 180. Like, yo, what's up? I would never do that because I'm not cool. Yeah, you'd never go, what's up? Okay, so here we go. Let's call one of the angles X. Okay, whoa. That's one of the angles. Okay, that's our other angle. So a lot of times in these word problems, you want to label at the end of the sentence, you want to label that X. Okay? Now the other angle is 10 more than 3 times that angle X. How are we going to represent that? 10 more than 3 times X. Yeah. Perfect. 3x plus 10. So here's one angle. We'll call it X. The other one is 3 times it, but 10 more. And together, they add up to 90. Ooh. It's good, huh? This would be a terrible one to like keep trying things, like, because you never know. You might not get nice integer answers. You might get decimals. So let's solve this. You solve it. You got it. You do it. Yeah, you solve it. You got this, Bailey? You gonna solve this one? Sydney, you got it already? Wow. And you know, a lot of times I like my word problems to come out to be nice numbers. Okay, if you get some random like 10.7 and whatever, just know that you're probably wrong. You might want to start over. Usually. Oh, you got it too? Ben? Ben has it? Oh, you have a question?
Yeah, like on equations,
Yeah.
you want us to write it like if it was improper fraction, you want us to write it like that? Like
Oh, either way, whatever you like. Improper fraction, mixed or decimal, I'm cool either way. Yeah.
Or do you do mixed numbers?
Yeah. All right, let's do it. 4x plus 10 is 90. Subtract 10 to the other side. 4x is 80. Shh, you guys are like, you get this, huh? That's why you're talking. X is 20. Okay, now it said this. Find the angle measures, plural. So don't stop there. There's a couple ways you can do this. If you know that they're going to add up to 90, because they're complementary, one is 20 degrees, and what's the other one? 70. Good. And is 70 10 more than 3 times 20? It is, yeah. Okay, last one. Promised you 4. This one is a 2-parter, though. I know. I tell you, there's only 4 questions, but I give you an A and a B, so there's really 5. We're going to do a little talk on consecutive integers. I got to make sure I spell this right. Oh, dang it. Consecutive integers. Okay, consecutive integers. Who knows what the word consecutive means? Consecutive? Yes, right after one another. Perfect. And what about integers? Numbers, negatives, or positive, perfect, whole numbers. That's going to be on the quiz, by the way, all those integers, natural numbers, all that stuff, real numbers, irrational. Okay, but we're going to review all that tomorrow, so don't stress. All right, it says here, we're going to do 2 of these. The sum of 3 consecutive integers The sum of 3 consecutive integers is 33. What are the numbers? Now, every year I'll have someone who can get this right off the bat, and they just think of some numbers, and they try and add them up, and it works out to 33, and they're like, oh, they're this, and this, and this. And that's great. I think that's awesome. You're using your brain. I do want you to set up an equation, though, okay? Because it gets a little more complicated. So we're going to do an easy one, set it up, and then we'll do a harder one in just a minute. All right, so the sum of 3 consecutive integers. Let me go ahead and start with the first integer. I'm going to add up 3 numbers, and they're going to equal 33. And the numbers are right in a row. So my first number I'm going to label x. What is the next number in terms of x? Like, if I had 5, the next number is 6. How do I get from 5 to 6? You add 1. And the next number after that is what? X plus 2. So if I have an integer, this is my first integer, my next one would be to add 1 to it. My next one would be to add 2. And the 3 of them together sum up to 33. Okay? This is integer 1, 2, 3. They add up to 33. Does that make sense? Anyone need me to re-explain that, or are you good? So now let's go ahead and solve it. I have 1, 2, 3x plus 3 equals 33. And if you remember, it says what are the numbers? So we need all 3 of them. 3x is 30. So x is 10. So then the 3 numbers, yeah, they have to be consecutive, are 10, 11, and 12. Do those numbers add up to 33? Yeah, and they're right in a row. And they're the only 3 numbers right in a row that add up to 33. So I have 1, 2, 3x's, and then 1 plus 2 is 3.
Yep, got it.
Yep, all of your like terms. Okay, let's go ahead and do, this is the last one. And if you think you got it, that's great. But this one's a little bit different, it's a little trickier. Okay? It says here that the sum of 3 consecutive, I'm going to change one little thing here. It's going to matter a lot. Even integers, bless you, 3 consecutive even integers is 72. What are the numbers? Okay, now this is going to be done both the same way, whether it's an odd consecutive numbers or even. Okay, let me stress that. These are done the same way no matter if it's odd numbers or even numbers, because how far apart are odd numbers from one another? 1 to 3 to 5 to 7. How far apart are they? 2. Even numbers. 2, 4, 6. How far apart are even numbers? 2. They're done the same way whether it's odd or even. So here's my first number, and I love to tell the first number is x. Makes it so much easier. The number that is the next consecutive even integer would be what? X plus 2. And if that was odd, it would still be x plus 2. Okay? And then x plus 4. Every other number plus 2. And that adds up to 72. Because people will think, oh, because it's even, you're going to add 2. And odd, you would add 1. No. If I'm adding 1 to a number, am I jumping the next one? No. So odd or even, you add 2, add 4, add 6 to get to the next even. All right. So let's add them up. I've got 1, 2, 3 x's plus 6 is 72. Subtract 6 to the other side. Divide by 3. What'd you get? 66 divided by 3. Heard it. 22. What's the next even? 24 and 26. And check your answer. See if it works. Is 22 plus 24 plus 26 sum to 72? Sure does. Okay? All right. So what you're going to do in your homework